Hey everybody, Grady at Ross Outdoors, and the time has come to do Josiah's bow build. As of this video being shot, we are just under 30 days out for the Arizona over-the-counter deer season, and we're just under 7 weeks out for the coveted early archery elk tags that we love hearing you guys have. So this year, Josiah drew a tag in New Mexico, so we're going to be building him up a Hoyt Alpha X 33. He was able to get a custom bow from them, so we're excited to see how this turns out. We're going to be kitting it out with Ghost Stick 2.0s, a Hoyt Pro Series 10-inch stabilizer mounted to the quick disconnect on the Ghost Sticks. We have a Hoyt Super Light Stretch quiver. He's going to be shooting the all-new Easton X10 Parallel Pros with our signature Ross Outdoors AE Hybrid 26 vanes. We're doing a Hamsky Epsilon with the universal mount so that it sits nice and tight inside, so that we're still utilizing the inline system that's been so popular with the new Hoyt bows. And then we have the tried and true Montana Black Gold Ascent Verdict. This one has the Revenge head and the quick link to allow us to utilize that Picatinny bracket on the front, again allowing us to use the inline bracket. And then just for the flare, we're doing an orange reflective D-loop. These have been really nice in case somebody has to sit in a ground blind, because it does give you these little white specks along the loop material so that you are able to locate your D-loop in a little bit lower light instead of just the standard black material. All right, so now that you guys have seen the kind of breakdown of everything that we're going to be tossing on Josiah's bow, now we get to the fun part and my job of bolting it all together. So I like to work from bottom of bow up, especially on these Hoyts, because it does give me a good vertical working platform because of these Ghost Stick 2.0s. I did get some of the kind of prep work out of the way. You'll see down here just below this silver stabilizer bushing, there is a black bolt in there. I call that the anti-rotation nut because it won't allow your Ghost Sticks to rotate. There's a small half moon in there to where now I haven't even tightened it down and it can't rotate very much. This just goes on with a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. I get it snug down, and then what we like to do is we will set it on a table like we have here, get the bow leveled, and then Popeye tighten that so that it can't come off. And this allows you to loosen these wings, and you can either put it in forward mode or what they will call stow mode if it's going to go into your case. But for the purpose of this video and what most of you will have it in, I'm going to leave it loosely in this stand mode. So you can see the bow stands here. Yes, it's going to get some side-to-side play. It doesn't really change. That also allows us to utilize the lower stabilizer mount, and it is a quick disconnect. So you see the nut on here that comes included with the Ghost Stick 2.0s, and I'm able to just thread in Josiah's stabilizer, lock it in. But now if he's going to travel to and from the range, to and from work or a hunt, you take this, give it one turn, and then you're able to pop this off, get it in. Sometimes when you're initially getting them on a bow, that oxidization on there will tend to stick, so you might have to do a turn or two, but now we have that mounted. This is the Hamsky Epsilon with the universal mounting bracket. There is a rubber band keeping all of this cord, and this guy here is called the rebound dampener. I'm going to rotate the bow so you can see me mount it. Hamsky's great at attention to detail. They give you a very large recessed washer that fits perfectly in the track here, so I can slip it in there, a good tight tolerance, and then make sure I grab the right wrench size here. We'll pin it, bring it in between the tech portion of the riser, and I will lock this down Get our washer set in there. Make sure it's flush, and then get it nice and tight. You'll notice here on the front, it may be hard to see on the video, but there is a small stainless lockdown screw. That is an optional choice when mounting this rest. If you want to put that in, you can sink that about 1 full rotation. I am not a big fan of doing that just because it does mar the finish ever so slightly, and we don't want to damage a customer's bow. We absolutely will do it if you request it, but most of the time with the surface area that this allows us to compress that bracket because of the nice washer and bolt, you don't have to lock that down. Now, with your rebound dampener, to get the rest properly installed, I go pretty simple on my knot. I will just do a simple loop and create a ball like that. I will then go in between the limbs. I will come up and over, and it's just like we're tying a D-loop. So this knot is called a clove hitch, and what it allows me to do is I can lock it down, change my tension ever so slightly, and slide it back as far back as I can without inhibiting the rotation of this cam, and lock it in. The reason you want it as far back is because this is where your limb articulates. Hamskis work off of the articulation of your limb. So it's on the knobby pad provided by Hamski with a little 3M backer, so it's going to stick. Now, because this is Josiah's bow, we're going to tidy everything up just like we would for you guys, the customer. So I noticed that's a little bit frayed out there, so burn it down, make sure it's got a good appearance, and then we're going to feed down this rebound dampener. This rebound dampener has taken place of the spring system. If you've noticed on some Hamskis you may have run in the past, I'm able to feed this through, and it allows you to get good compression tension on the cable, but you don't have to worry about the durability of a spring up here. So this clamp has replaced the spring. So at the moment I have the rebound dampener fed to the right position, but I'm not going to lock it down because I need this rest up and deployed so that I can level his arrow a little bit further on in the process. Now, I'm going to mount the sight right now, and some of you may see this and go, wait, you have to do the axes. Yes, we will be doing the second and third axis to Josiah's sight. I just don't have that clamp on this bench here, so don't think we're skipping the step. It's just I don't have my vise on this bench that's in our main tech room where we've got Adrian and Jesse right now. I like to give it a little bit of an extra snug on that clamp, just a little bit tighter than I can get it with my fingers, and now you can see we have a perfectly inline sight and a perfectly inline rest, and that will allow us with this next step to mount the super light stretch quiver. So nice part about the super light stretch quiver is it gives you the same control of a traditional fixed quiver, but these two little star wing nuts allow you to detach it. Now with these newer bows, they do come with this small luggage tag, and it will allow you in here, you'll notice there's two little shorter bolts. The original bolts that I'll take out of here right now will be much longer, and the reason that they provide from the factory these two shorter bolts is Hoyt did a great job of milling down the riser this year, so you don't need as many threads to go through the riser. That was just part of their plan to reduce weight. So you can see how much shorter this provided bolt is, and that just shows you how much they reduced from the riser this year, making this bow so light and so shootable. So now I will make sure that my indentations where my wing nut will lock in is facing towards the target. I will come in here, spin this guy down. I will lock it down in its specific position, and then I will repeat that process for the top. This is the unglorious part of mounting bracketry to a bow, but in my opinion it's one of the most important parts, because it's a common thing that people will bring into us here at the shop of, hey, I'm noticing a buzz or kind of a rattle, and it oftentimes is mounting hardware that has come slightly loose. So I have the tendency sometimes to over tighten stuff, and my coworkers don't like it very much, but we like making sure things are bomb proof here. So when we're going through here, you will have to flip on the quiver these brackets around. I just leave them loose while I do this, because this will allow me to set the spacing without frustrating myself. So this is going to go over our clamp for the quiver, and then now what I can do here is I can set my height by leaving this loose, and then I can also set my pitch outer and inwards so that I'm not canting it in towards the string where I can cause an obstruction to the cam. But I want to make sure it's down enough so that when the limb articulates, because again the goal here is to suck it as tight as possible, when the limb articulates it doesn't come down and touch that hook that Hoyt provides if you're in a tree stand or a ground blind. So what I'm going to do here is bring it down just a little bit. Going to just get these snug. Get it into its position, and then I'm going to take my wing nuts that again come provided with the quiver. I'm going to get them started in, and you'll feel them engage into their spot. Now I will do that same thing here on the bottom. And while I'm doing this, some of you may notice, hey, wait, Grady, why is all this extra sticking out on the outside of the quiver here? It's a wonderful question. I can go, and Hoyt thought it through, I can take all that excess off. So these just unbolt, and you can save them for later if you want, if you plan on switching to another Hoyt bow, or if you are using prior year's bows. You see that it does have the indents here. This just allows you kind of redundancy for further down the road with different Hoyt products. And then the bottom gripper here we will adjust for Josiah once I get everything lined up. I'm just aligning this with the bottom limb because I'm weird and picky. So that, again, you can see it actually sits behind the roller on the Montana Black Gold sight. So it allows everything to sit nice and in line. And you can see that that quiver fits flush with the outside of the limb. Now, the fun part here, because I don't have a press in front of me, is we're going to tie Josiah's D-loop. This is glow cord, so it will give him some reflection if he's sitting in a ground blind or a low light tree stand. I'm going to tie my clove hitch. I like to tighten it down a little bit. I will go out and back through, under and back through. And I apologize if my fat fingers kept you from being able to see that. But you notice that the knots are opposing each other here. That creates opposite tension. And what that allows you to have is when you shoot, your D-loop isn't going to spin on your center serving, because if it spins, most of the time people will come in and say my peep is twisting, when really it's just an issue with the D-loop. Now I'm going to take Josiah's arrow, I'm going to feed it in, and just to make sure, I'm going to make sure that his rest is tight here, because if it's not, that can affect the reading of how true his arrow is sitting. Get that loosened up. Alright, so we're snug enough there. I'm going to make sure that this is running level across the burger hole on Hoyt. You'll notice there's a sticker there, so I'm going to press his arrow down. You'll see that Hoyt sticker. I like to run mine to where it basically cancels out the numbers, or the letters, I should say, on that Hoyt sticker, so that when his rest is down, it's like that, but when his hamski comes up, when the limb articulates, it's going to sit like that. So I like where that's sitting. We'll obviously see how this paper tunes. And then when I look at his center shot, it's actually pretty much perfect out of the package, which is what I would expect with these. They do a pretty darn good job from the factory, making sure that each one gets the attention it deserves. Make sure that's nice and snug. And now, so that I can make my life a little bit easier, I am going to loosen Josiah's quiver up a little bit. Take it off, and this is the fun part of, I'm going to loosen his little football clamp here, pull down. I generally want to make sure that that football clamp is even with kind of the lower third of his grip. I'm going to pull very tight, and that will cause this rebound dampener here. You can see it kind of relax right there, and when I pull very tight, it's going to preload. I'm going to slide this football up just a little bit. I'm going to snug it. Now lock it in. So with this extra cord, we tend to knot it over, and then I will just repeat the same clove hitch that I tied a couple times on this bow. See, it keeps the cord, but when I pull it down, a clove hitch is a self-tensioning knot, and that extra cord is going to stay out of the way. Burn that portion down there. Keep the quiver seated on both the brackets here. Lock that in. Lock that wing nut in. And now I will get Josiah's arrow in here. You can see that it is a little bit too low on that arrow gripper because it's going to grab right in the middle of his veins currently. Get the correct size Allen wrench here. Loosen it. I'm going to slide it up to where it's going to grab right at the front of his veins so that we get the maximum expansion from the contact points, so that he's got contact up in the hood, and then it's controlling as far away as possible so that we don't hear any arrow buzzing when we're shooting, because you always want to be quiet so that if you do get fortunate enough to have a follow-up shot, we're able to, and we don't scare him away by the buzz. But right now we are set to go through, cinch down the D-loop. We're going to install a 3/16 peep for Josiah, and then we'll go through and we'll do the first, second, and third axis and finish out the tune. That's better. .307, wow. All right, everybody, as you see here, Josiah's 2024 bow build has come to an end. We got all the accessories mounted, as you guys were able to follow along. In the background, we did get the first, second, and third axis done to his Montana Black Gold sight with the quick link, and then I did get his peep installed at his height. We did get it chronoed in the range with the new Garmin Zero chrono, and a X10 Parallel Pro coming in at 420 grains is going at an astonishing 307.4 feet per second. So we really love the performance that the Hoyt has to offer, and also the precision that that Garmin chrono is able to give us when we're chronographing your arrows. Just on a side note, we really want to thank you guys for all of the support you've given us throughout the spring and summer. You guys coming in makes our day. Whether it's a brand new customer or a lifelong customer of when we've been in business, we really appreciate all of you guys. We know the hard work you've been putting in. We love servicing your bows, and we really want to wish all of you luck, because as of the shooting of this video, like we said, it's less than 30 days before over-the-counter season and less than 7 weeks till elk. So we really want to wish you all luck when it comes to all the coveted tags you drew, or if you're going out for over-the-counter. From us here at the downtown location and our guys over at the West Valley, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. So thank you for following along, and we really appreciate it.